I do want to talk about this. This is actually very interesting, and I didn't really even know this until you brought it up in the podcast notes. LAFC partnering up with Bayern Munich. Tyler, I know you're a big Bayern fan. Do you like this move?
I do, especially because the Bundesliga, we really don't spend a lot of money on players, but we sell players high, and that's one thing I love about the Bundesliga. So I feel like finding these nice LA kind of academy players, or even just like first team players that never really ventured off overseas or anything, like someone like Vela, for example. And I know like Douglas Costa. He was playing at like Juve for a while, and he played at Bayern too. But
Yes. Yeah.
it's just like it's just nice like thinking about that. Like Vela, I mean, I know he's older now, but I feel like in his heyday, I feel like he could have had a shot somewhere like overseas, and I feel like the Bundesliga is a good starting point for a lot of these people. Where if they show out, especially coming from a powerhouse like LA, that we buy them cheap, but then we can sell them high. And that's one thing that I love about the Bundesliga, especially Bayern. We really don't pay a lot for our players. People just want to play for us because we're very successful. And I mean, I don't know, our chemistry style, like with our players, is just so good. I mean, look at Cancelo, for example. Like, we got Cancelo from Man City, and I mean, the dude came and he's playing out of his mind. James Rodriguez was another one. Came from where'd he come from before? I think he left Everton, then came to us. I can't really remember.
I
And then,
wasn't he at
or no,
Monaco?
he left Real Madrid. He left Real Madrid, came to us, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
he
that's
balled
right. But
out.
I was
And
thinking
then
where he
he
Because
was
went to
he
before the
got
World
he got
Cup.
no playing time at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
yeah. Which
But
is
it's
a
just stuff
story
like
in and of
that. Like
itself.
Felipe Coutinho left Barca on loan, then he scores against them in the 8-2, knocking Messi out of
Yeah.
Champions League for the first year, and then we know what happened after that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you. Those are some
it's
good
a yeah,
points. And
The
Well,
Bundesliga I
it
feel like is just a great starting league for players to really like prove themselves and then move on to bigger and better things. And like I said, the Bundesliga usually buys low, but then they sell high. I think Dortmund, for example, Dortmund sold, like, whenever we bought Lewandowski and Dembele, or not Dembele, but Lewandowski, and then whenever they sold Dembele, I think Barca paid like 80 million for Dembele, and then even Bayern snagged Loa for cheap, and then you saw we sold Loa for so much to Barca. It's just like, that's one thing I love about the Bundesliga. It's literally just buy low,
yeah,
sell high, and it's a great starting point for players to really prove themselves.
and
Like
before
Kolo
I think
Muani
it's
from Frankfurt in the World Cup, just this past World Cup. I mean, the dude was balling out of his mind. He just couldn't get that game-winning goal. But
yeah,
other than that, it's like
and
it's just a
Julian,
great starting point.
before I bring you into it, I just want to make one more comment. It seemed like I got the job from I started at Wrexham in Football Manager, went to Bayern, um, and I was trying to get affiliates, and I would remember how like I got an MLS affiliate, and I felt like it was a good one, but even in the game, these players that really are not ready to start for me don't want to play for for these American teams. So I find it really cool that they're willing to set that kind of thing up now and hopefully start developing. So I think that's a good sign for the MLS as much as it is for Bayern.
I was gonna say, like, I think it's probably even, well, Bayern gets, because it's also too, like, it's giving Bayern a place for these players who aren't ready, that need higher competition than the second team. And I think going to a place like MLS, it's going to be more competitive than like a Bundesliga too,
Yeah,
or like,
especially nowadays.
you
So
know what
I
I mean?
th- I think it's really good for
And
the
you're going to
MLS.
be, yeah. And then so you're getting these players who aren't ready for the to the first team, and but you're playing at a level that's higher than the quality you would be facing at a second level team, and being away, playing with older people playing with veterans versus, you're stuck in the developmental leagues of the Bundesliga. You're just never going to get that same intensity with those younger guys. But now you're going to go against grown men, then you can easily work your way up. And now with MLS becoming that platform for players to, like, especially American players too, to get the experience and then go over there, because the competitiveness of the league here is growing so much. And it's also great for LAFC because, one, now you're getting this high level developed talent, European developed talent coming to the MLS, which is helping LAFC out tremendously.
And arguably a top 5 powerhouse team too.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, and you're helping LAFC's academy, because now if you have a player coming out of the LAFC academy showing promise, goes to the first team, doing really well, and then with that partnership, Bayern can then look at that player and be like, all right, this kid's 20 years old and he's scored, I don't know, 8 goals in like 15 games. Let's bring him over here and see what he can do over here. So I think it's good for both. One, it brings the quality up for LAFC. And then 2, it's helping Bayern have a place to send these players who aren't quite ready yet to a little bit more of a competitive league, outside of just sending them to like some smaller clubs in the Bundesliga too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because even though some people won't say it, I think MLS is probably of higher quality than like the Bundesliga too. And then playing with older people as well. So it's really cool. It seems like that's kind of like the new wave, kind of like what Citigroup is doing, like, having like a feeder system around the world so you can get different levels of talent while also exposing these young players to playing with adults, really. That's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And man, LAFC has done everything right when it comes to like starting off. Like LAFC is like, and it looks like St. Louis is going to be following their footsteps. They have become like the go-to team of how you correctly like operate a club in MLS to be successful. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, shit, hopefully Miami can have some sort of feeder system with, I don't know, some other team. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, but that's the goal. That's what we need to strive for.
Yeah, I can see us doing some sort of like La Liga team.
Yeah, I don't know. David Beckham having ownership, I mean, it's like he has so many AC Milan, PSG, I mean, Man United being a big one, obviously with Phil Neville too. It's like he obviously has a lot of pull at different clubs.
You know what also came up on my mind, and we can end it here, is that like now you're going to have younger players being okay with spending their youth over here. I feel like, because now you're going to have like a player who's 22, you're playing in Europe, you're pushing for a starter job for like, let's say Bayern, but you've just been put on the bench constantly. Like
I said, it's
for a fact that you can play really well. Yeah, it's like if you can show, it's like, all right, I have no issue going to LAFC at this age because I know I'm still connected with Bayern some way, and I know if I play really well, kind of like the Ricky Puig situation, like he's still kind of connected to Barca. I think he still gets shares of Barca. Barca still has a vested interest in selling him completely because they get a profit share of the revenue. So like, if you're able to bring more of those like young 20-year-olds who just aren't there yet, like it's just going to increase the quality so much, and it's going to bring so much more competitiveness to it. It's awesome to see. I really hope more teams continue to do this. But
yeah, also just the final thing too to throw out. Also, we also didn't really talk about how the LAFC academy players can necessarily switch over to Bayern's academy too, being connected like that. Like let's say they want to develop, like they want to switch from LA's like academy and develop at Bayern's academy. Now it's like at least you have an easier kind of pull to kind of like switch, if you get what I'm saying, like something of that nature too. That way you get 2 different experiences of how it is in Germany and then how you get it in the US. So it's like
Bryce Duke I think Bryce Duke, Robbie Robinson for Inter Miami, I think they did some sort of thing. They did training in the offseason with Atletico Madrid. And like even something as simple as training, like you're at LAFC Academy in the summers,
yeah.
You in the off seasons, you go over to Bayern in the Bundesliga and you can train with them and see like it's awesome. We need definitely more